Okay, so after playing with foreign exchange forecasting for 2 lectures now, then let's see that how this foreign exchange risk can affect the company. So what is the exposure here? So when we have to talk about exposures, it's always actually referred like this, that we have some sort of exchange rate, so currency, denominated somehow, so let's say that it will be a friendly blue color, so euro. And also it has an exchange rate now, so spot exchange rate. So let's say this yeah, historical 315, and obviously we have some contract values, so we have some incomes. Incomes in euro, so let's say that we have this 11 million. What was that exactly? Actually, we don't have to type it here because just using equation mark. Yeah. So lots of incomes in euros, and also we have some expenditures. We can say that everything what is spent in Austria plus or interest payments after our debt. So this multiplied by the debt. So something like this you have. And also in incomes we had the bank deposit. So this is not completely correct because still bank deposit, where are you? Here is it. So sorry, multiplied by this really small interest rate minus even 0.1, something like this. Yeah. And so after that we have the exposure. So actually the net cash flow in danger or affected by the FX changes. Minus expenditures. And after that we can think about that which way can be a problem for us. So what is happening when the currency appreciates or depreciates? So ways of harming the company or the profitability.
In the fourth assignment, the 400 euro is a real drastic.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to be more drastic. so in the past it was 330, maybe it's also in the lecture notes.
Yes.
But with 360 it became low stuff. So yeah. So ways of harming the profitability. Actually, okay, we can say that the exposure grows So something changes with the money, or we can say that the exchange rate changes. But which way? So obviously if we realize, so if we are still profitable in one currency, so we have higher incomes than expenditures, then obviously the appreciation of the currency can be bad for profitability. And actually what happens when the exposure increases, it's no problem for us. So we like to make euros, so because it's a positive number. But at the same time, if we have to think about the Czech koruna, so CZK which was 0.4 when the company or the case study was defined, then we know that incomes in FX. Let's change it. Yeah. So we have no income in Czech koruna at all, just we are redirecting some of our actual incomes, and we have expenditures only here. Some, not Austria, come on, Czechia. Here, so yeah, it will be a negative number. And in this case, if the exposure increases, then it's already a problem for us because we are just increasing our losses.
What's the formula behind the yellow line?
Yeah, just incomes minus expenditures. So this is maybe it looks nicer this way. And in this case, obviously, it will be a problem if we are increasing this. So partially, firing people in Czech Republic can be reasonable because you can say that I can decrease my exposure because majority, at least a significant part of the expenditures, not significant. So some part of the expenditures were at least wage related, because majority will be way usage fees or fuel and electricity, yeah, if you are using electric traction.
Have we ranked some kind of office building in Czech Republic, or is counted as income, or?
Yeah, it's actually, yeah, if you let to rent it out, then actually you can realize incomes. So if you are increasing the efficiency of, yeah, of collecting money from the office building, or if you are selling this and there is no, actually depreciation is a tricky thing because it affects our exposure because it's still in the profit and loss statement. So if exchange rates are changing, then it will affect it, obviously. But on the other hand, we know that from cash point of view, it has no impact at all. So actually, we can say that we don't want to include them at all. So we can say that you can be removed because we don't have to pay for that. So it's just an accounting trick, and it's nice, and it will be there in the profit, but it's not an actual expenditure for the company, which can harm the profitability at the end of the day, or which can make troubles for them. And in this case, obviously, the change will be the depreciation. what we want to avoid. Hello. And so after that, let's see. Meow. Okay, save as somewhere. Okay, now it's there. So let's see that. Okay, and what can happen if we are starting to change the exchange rates? So, and what is happening with the possible strategies with the company? So, MATLAB. Last week I installed the new version because now there is a 2020B version of MATLAB. I installed it to have this fancy playing with the neural networks, and I opened it on Monday and it was completely frozen, so even my computer had to be rebooted, and since then it's absolutely not working at all. So if you install the 2020A already, then you should not update it in the near future until maybe they are providing some patch or service pack or something like this. Or I just was unlucky. Yep. And we have to open the valuation default because in this case we have all the fancy stuff there. Probability of default and also the value of the company, which can be useful because we can see that how they react. Okay. What are the exchange rates? Yeah, here. So actually we can build up nice 4 cycles for the company to see that how they can react on different exchange rates. So how can the profitability of the company increases if the Hungarian forint depreciates or appreciates. But the problem is that it's really hard to imagine that the Hungarian forint appreciates against the Czech koruna because it increases profitability, and at the same time it depreciates against the euro. That would be the best case scenario. Just it's highly not possible. And to show you this why, actually I uploaded this nice data set. We did with it last week when we were playing with forecasting, but also there is this dynamic conditional correlation data, so it was calculated between different regional currencies, or not even regional, because there is Japanese and Turkish lira, British pounds, and so on. And and there is no euro. Oh, come on, I missed the euro to include it here.
$1 0.83.
Türk lirası daha değerli.
Tabii. Neredeyse.
0.83 abi.
Hayır abi şey.
So
Ya 1 lira 0.83 dolar. Yok.
okay.
1 dolar 0.83. Yani TL daha değerli.
So actually we can see that even Turkish lira,
Was good back then.
yeah, but actually even on the not in
There
the
was a
2000s.
financial crisis in Turkey in 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
And they said the Turkish lira was so overvalued before that. So even that, it was the year I came to Hungary.
Yeah.
Everything was so cheap for me in Budapest. So what I was buying for one piece in Turkey, I was buying the same thing too. So like double the price in Turkey to here. But now it's totally different.
But actually still we can see that there is some sort of correlation. Okay, it's a really weak correlation with the euros, but if you are looking on small currency or small economies, relatively small because this is Switzerland, still we can say that it's really strictly correlating with the euros. It doesn't matter that actually at the same time it's appreciating, but if they are not suffering from sudden appreciations, then on the ordinary days they are moving together with the Swiss franc, with the euro. Also we can find the same thing with Czech koruna. So actually Czech koruna completely stuck to euro. So if sorry, everything is so all the correlations are with the euro US dollar. Just
What happened with Swiss francs in 2015?
so in this case they introduced this 1.2 Czech Swiss franc to euro flooring, and this is when they abandoned it. So there was a sudden shock because Swiss franc started to appreciate again. It was a really strict appreciation, so it created a sudden shock. The model was not able to manage it, and after that we can see that once the shock disappeared, then the correlation is back again, and it's really strong, so it's more than or around 0.8. And also if you are looking on the, what is the Hungarian forint? Yeah.
Was
This
it true
kind
that
of
the banks or governments are aware of the franc crisis when it happened in Hungary?
actually
They started
this
to
is the
give loans to in
and this is the biggest trap here, because you can see that if you are looking from a statistical point of view, you can see that it's completely correlating with the euro. And it's correlating with the euro until some shock is happening, but even in the state of sudden appreciation, it was still correlating. So correlation statistics can be completely misleading. If you are thinking that I can hedge this risk away somehow, or actually next week we were talking about risk management and hedging strategies. Madura book exactly says that if you are correlating, or if two currencies are correlating with each other, then you don't have to hedge this thing out, because it's there and you can rely on that. And we know that at the same time what is happening with Swiss franc, sorry, euro. Is something like this. So it's appreciating a lot against the euro. Once they were saying that okay, it will be limited here, okay, from this depreciation point of view it's 0.28 84 0.84, and then once they abandoned it, there was the other shock. So this peak here. And also that's the reason that also Madura book says that you can build diversified portfolios when the volatility of the portfolio will be zero, because you are playing with the weights of the portfolio. Just in real life, if you are doing this, so I did it for fun, and actually what we can see here, that you have to change the weights. Yeah, sorry, this is not the weights. This is just quarterly based data for the same things. I deleted it from this Excel sheet, but actually the weights were constantly changing, so you can't save yourself from this kind of risk. So actually we could say that it's highly impossible to have depreciation against the euro and depreciation against the Czech koruna, because come on, these currencies are walking hand in hand together. So if Hungarian forint starts to depreciate against one of them, then it will depreciate against the other as well. So that's why it's unlikely to have this. And also we know that in reality let's say it's euro is Czech krona because it's not misleading in this case. It depreciates and it also depreciates. So we were able to see it again last week. And we were talking about this, then this is depreciation, clear sign of depreciation. Even we played with the linear trend line and so on. So, and also against euro, I don't think that right now in these conditions we have to talk about this, but still for the sake of the video, you can see that yep, it's depreciating. Just we see that when the depreciation is much more dramatic than it was before, then the volatility also increases. So actually, market is punishing the forint if risk awareness is increasing. So usually money is moving away from all emerging currencies. So it's not just for forint, it's for other currencies as well. But also volatility increases here. So heteroscedasticity is there. So in this case, we can be really happy with the euro because actually it supports our efforts. But we are unhappy with the Czech krona because it's actually bad for business. So after that, let's see what is happening with the corporate profitability. So first we will build up a fourth cycle and we just see that what is happening under different exchange rates. Then we will define exchange rate combinations because they are much more reliable. So first, writing here that and there is no correlation among exchange rates, so we are saying that for EUR/HUF should we do this directly? Yeah, we can do it. What can possibly go wrong? 300 to 360, and also we are generating a secondary ZK-HUF from 10 till 15. And we are not mingling with the interest rates, just this. And okay. And now we have to add additional dimensions to everything because we have pre-tax ratio. So in the past it was related to the locomotive. Now we can let it go to sleep, and we can say that it's EUR/HUF, TZK-HUF. So it will be 3-dimension. It will be so nice. Again, we will check the value of the shares with this. And also we have the probability of default. Just I want to keep the original one, so that's why I don't want to overwrite everything, because okay, and we started 2 4 cycles, so we need 2 ends here, and then let's see that how will it work. Somewhere I missed some semicolons because it's writing out all the unnecessary calculations. That's why we are using this. The punishment for lazy script writing. Reached me. Ah, there you are. Oh my god, right. Actually, it doesn't matter if it's here, just it looks ugly. Yeah, they finished. Okay, so surface. Boy, it's not surface. And what is your name? Pretext. Plot catalog. What is supposed to be surface? One to 4. Maybe we have to limit it because it was not able to deal with all this stuff. Data is there, so it's not an empty. But why? Okay, if you are saying that we are just focusing only on one locomotive, then Z must be a matrix, not a scalar or vector. Yeah, it must be 3D. Okay, then. Oh, they made it more complicated. Use this column and row indices of the elements. So we should over it. In the past it was just you uploaded it and just we have to get rid of this first dimension. Okay. Now the data is there. Yes. In the past you were just throwing it and then it was playing nice, because still we have one dimension, because sorry, we were running out of dimensions, because this is the Czech runa. This is supposed to be the Hungarian.
Sorry, can I close the door?
Yes, of course, please. Thanks. This reference scheme was not that good. Maybe I will mess it up again, just let's see that thing. No. Okay, I was able to build a house with this, or a tent. But now it's nicer because it shows us that so this is the Hungarian forint euro exchange rate, and this is the Czech runa exchange rate, and this is the profitability, which is rubbish, but later on when we change the exchange rate, it will be changing. So we can see that how profitability declines when the Czech runa appreciates, and actually for them it doesn't matter that what is happening with the So when euro appreciates, then actually when euro appreciates, then actually it's good for profitability. Just sorry, this is the right angle, so we can see that it's nearly a linear function what is happening with this appreciation, but it's nearly linear because we see that there are interest rates in it. But actually if we are looking on from the other angle, from Czech runa point of view, then we can see that it's going down, so it's also linear function. But we can see here, but can we build a better and bigger tent, because we know that this is for the first locomotive. So let's see the electron. Now it's much more like a skyscraper. So here we can see that So first of all, it doesn't matter what is happening with the interest rates, at least we are able to create, even in disastrous situation when the Hungarian forint is really strong against the euro and it's really weak against the Czech koruna, still our profitability is 0.35, which is above the market average. Okay, the best case when we are able to have the strong forint against the Czech koruna and against the euro we are really weak, then it will be 0.56. So this is the best case and the worst case scenario what we can identify here, and there are the interim and much more realistic scenarios when we are strong against both currencies or we are weak against both currencies. But still we can evaluate that, oh, this is not a big or enormous problem for us because we are not in losses. And then when we are going down to 2 dimensions, still we can see that this declining thing is actually also linear, but we can see that it's a bit different. Yeah, because I'm not using, it's still 3D. Now it's not. But these two lines are not parallel, which is a bit strange for me because they're supposed to be. And in the case of euro, so we can say that, oh, weak forint is good for the business, but because of the interest rates, this line is not linear completely, so there is a bit curve due to the interest rate in this game. So actually with these 3D representations we can see that and also the steepness can be really important here. So the steepness here is way smoother than in the case of euro than it was in the case of Czech koruna. So Czech koruna affects or much more badly than what is happening with the euro. Yeah. Okay, now it looks completely disgusting. Yeah. Also, what is happening with the value of the shares? We create this kind of representation for that because so we can see that the peak corporate value will be the unrealistic situation with the opposite directions of the currencies, and the company will worth a lot of money, but at the same time in the realistic, just now historical scenario when the Hungarian forint was strong, then it's just a bit more than 1000 forint. And in the current situation, what can I say today, actually the share prices can increase. And actually this can be a lesson because in many cases we can see that share prices are doing the same thing for exporting companies. So this is not just part of the simulation where we were lucky and so on, but if you are looking on the stock markets, it can happen in many cases. That, for example, Toyota once, maybe in 2013, had a sudden increase in the profitability, and also the share prices followed it. But it was just because the Japanese yen was depreciated suddenly because of the introduction of the quantitative easing, and it was just a monetary policy shock, but it had an immediate impact on the share values. So at some extent also stock markets are following this game here, so depreciation can increase the share prices as well. And also we can see that this function is still the same, so the steepness of value increase will be similar in these cases. But what is happening with the probability of default? Let's remove that. It's probable, and it's still and more probable. So we can see that, yeah, for this first year case, when in my solution I burned away all the cash reserves of the company. So actually we can see that depreciation, maybe it's good for corporate profitability, just the company will be more stressed out. So it's good news for shareholders, but also bad news for shareholders because there is an increased probability of going to default. Yeah. And again, the unrealistic situation provides us the lowest probability here, but we know that this is not possible. And this neither, so we have to work somewhere here on this line between these 2 points. And also we can think about that, is this a linear thing? It's not, because still there are different steepnesses in this, on this surface. Also from this one, actually in the case of Czech koruna it's still nice, so it's still a linear relationship, but with euro it's not. We can see that there are differences. Yeah, but as I mentioned it already, then due to the correlation we have to define different exchange rate pairs, so they're not supposed to be independent from each other when we are talking about the euro and the Czech krona. It's much better to say that we are defining exchange rate pairs, and then they have to follow this. So let's say that now, but here for our HUF and CZK EGF we are defining exchange rate intervals, and just we were walking through them. So in this case the best thing is to say that okay, let's check historical data for the Hungarian forint and also for the Czech koruna, so Stockholm, CZK EGF, historical data. We are skipping to yearly, and also we don't want to have in the 90s, so let's say from 2010, January 1st.
Is it possible to download as a database?
Yes, it can be
it
downloaded as a
commercial?
CSV. Yes.
Okay.
That's why I like
How
this.
can you use this CSV when you download it?
I will show you right now.
Thank you.
This is not CZK, it's EUR. And it's really good because in the Stockholm you can edit the URL because they are following always the same notation. So if you are changing EUR, HUF, you can define the data and so on. It's a nice platform. So downloaded the data to CSV, save as to somewhere. Also downloaded the data in CSV. Okay, let's open it. Where is it? The downloads folder. It will be good enough. Just there we find it. At least, and then if you want to open it okay, it's the Hungarian one. Sorry, guys. But in the data menu,
Wait, data menu.
then new query or something like this. It will be from file, CSV database, whatever, and then just we have to read this in, and it's actually there. So I just save and open. I don't know why it's. So in the Hungarian version still we have to convert them to decimal commas, but
Last weekend I was trying to collect some data of our stock market, one of these stocks, and I wanted to see the trend line of it, but it gave the CSV data, but I couldn't convert it to Excel. It was rubbish when I opened it. So I said, oh.
yeah, so it's
Thank you for this.
unfortunately we have to use this way. Before of that I was always using LibreOffice, because LibreOffice can it open automatically, then copy and paste to Excel.
Kapanış hepsini alabiliyorsun. CSV değil indiriyor. Ama Excel'de açamıyorsun. Şimdi artık açacağım. Artık para kaybetmeyeceğim. Borsa mı?
And I should transpose this. And maybe if I copy it right now, yeah, it's supposed to be good, just it's not, because it's now I have to convert back all the decimal commas to decimal points, because after that we can have all the data from the last 10 years and we can backtest everything. So after that we can get rid of this kind of force cycle. We can say that let's go to sleep, and it will be for J 1 till supposed to be 10. No, 11. No, and I can't do this. No. Since I have to select one of them, so it will be. Do we have euro? Just Eurhof, okay. So it will be Eur, and then from this Eur we will select only one variable. So from the first line and the G's column will be selected as we are going from year to year, because otherwise it would try to put all the data into one place, and that would be disastrous. Now it will look nice. And also we can have this and this not necessary. What? Index proposition 2 is invalid. But what is proposition 2? And where is located? Ah, okay. It's not supposed to be J first of all, because maybe I was using this already somewhere in the script. Yeah, there is also a J. It's a common mistake when you are using several things, so it will be CCC. It will be cat. No. Ah. And also what was missing from here, that we have to implement it also at the outputs, because it's nice to say that now it will be changing, but it could be currency as well, but currencies are crazies and cats are even crazier. So what? Okay, then in this case let's start to run everything from scratch, because I made a mistake somewhere. Yep. Cat equals 1. Ah. What? Oh, But why? You have to select. Ah!
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I have to rewrite it. Sorry. Now this is supposed to work. Okay, it was third time it was okay, and then we can see. Now actually we have only 2 dimensions for the pretext and the other data, so it will be so it's visible for us. But what was the output for the different locomotives? So let's make all of them to comment, and then we can say that surface pretext will be something like this. So these are the different exchanges scenarios, and this dimension represents the different locomotives, and this dimension represents the pretext profit ratio. So we can see that actually obviously the first locomotive was rubbish and not profitable, and that's seriously not profitable, because if you are moving here, then it says that it's already losses, and even our current strange times, the company would be profitable, so it would create it would have a 9% of with the first locomotive. Yeah, because the Hungarian forint is so weak that it creates such a bias for a completely unproductive company. So this is also the danger of constant devaluation, because you are not forcing companies to make profitable or make more productive or more efficient, because, oh, come on, if you are doing nothing at all, still we can maintain or improve our profitability. So this is the danger of depreciation, which can punish the productive sector, but also we can see, or at least demotivate that still the first or the second locomotive, so the Vectron is making a nice profit. Just in this case, it's really hard to find differences between the surfaces. Maybe we can say that this is just the difference between the different exchange rates, different exchange rate combinations. While here in the first locomotive, which is rubbish, then it has a significant impact, but after that it's nothing. So that's why it's also a nice lesson that before you start to think about that, okay, I have exposure and I should reduce it, first of all you have to go through the entire company, that should I improve the profitability, should I do something with that, before you are starting to purchase options and futures and all other contracts, because actually here we were able to reduce also the exposure and improve profitability, and after that we can say that who cares about exchange rates, it's no problem for us anymore. So nothing like here like it was. So that's why I prefer this case study, because it teaches us on many different things. Yeah.
Do you remember you also had a bachelor course but elective course? It was the same project?
It was the same. Actually, that was the test bed of this lecture. So if I implemented some changes there, I tried with the students there, and after that I implemented all the changes here. So that was the beta testing phase when I was able to see that what is working and what is not working at all.
And there was programming in that course with MATLAB or no? Just theory?
Actually, in some semesters there was MATLAB, in some semesters it was just Excel. So it depended. Actually, there were periods before when we were completely focusing only on different part of econometrics. So it went really strange turns around in the past. Yeah. So we were able to see what is happening with the pre-tax profit. Then share value of the company. Obviously it will be similar. So again, poor performer company can see some sudden, oh come on, this rubbish is worth of God. So we know that it was 180 something, and due to the depreciation now it's 400. Oh come on. Why actually now it's actually all the other scenarios we can see that it can move 3 or 200 and something forints can be the increase due to the depreciation, but that's all. But the probability of default, it can be oh my, what is this? Okay, a really strange thing happens there with the first locomotive. Maybe there was some sort of overflow. I don't know what happened here with 9. What happened there? Probability of default. Yeah. Maybe the number was too big, so after they were reaching 100, then it was disappearing, but yeah. Let's write it to 1 because it's obviously an overflow in the system. Yep. So regardless that it says that and actually here we can see that the probability of default also decreases a bit. But at the same time, if we are, let's reduce it to 1 dimension. Actually, if we were refining the company, then we can see that there are not so many differences again between the or among the different locomotives, but also depreciation can improve this kind of business as well. It's so strange because in the past I was always testing for 330 and so on, but now this is so drastic that we can see that exchanges can have their influence on corporate profitability and also on value and also on probability of default. Yep. So that was the lesson for today, and I will make a save for that. And next week we will start to see that how can we defend the company, so what kind of hedging strategies are there available for the companies, because there will be an opportunity to say that I don't want to deal with the exposure because it's supported by market trends. So in the case of euro, maybe it's completely useless to do anything because we were able to verify that it's good for the company to have this kind of exposure. But we know that Czech koruna harms us, so we can say that we can choose between creating a well-diversified portfolio, which is useless, so we can't do this. We can't rearrange all the expenditures to have this, so it's not on the table. Then we can say that we want to hedge the entire exposure from year to year. It doesn't matter because we are defining exchange rates like 10 Czech korunas for a Hungarian, so 10 Hungarian forints for a Czech koruna exchange rate, and then we will purchase it always as an option, and after that we can pay your expenditures from this amount of money, or we can say that we will just using options when the market is in stress. So this is the selective hedging strategy, and we will using only options because options can be calculated, and in this case we don't have to dig up data from futures market that in the past was there any kind of contract which was available, and yeah, so it's I don't like future markets actually. Options are in the case of options you see the price. Later on we will see that in future markets you have to have some sort of a deposit at the investment company or who will be your market maker, and it means that you have some unknown, undefined deposit there, because usually they are just making up some number that the market volatility increases, then you have to increase this deposit, and if you are not able to increase it anymore, then this contract is closed. So in the case of option, there is a fee, you are paying it, and then you have the option, and that's all. So it will be better.